When a journalist made a mocking comment about Barron Trump during a charity gala, no one anticipated that his composed reply would become the highlight of the evening. The ballroom at the Fairmont Grand Hotel was a sight to behold, with crystal chandeliers casting a soft glow over the elegantly dressed guests. The murmur of polite conversation filled the air, adding to the sophistication of the annual charity event. Among the attendees were some of the country's most prominent figures, business leaders, celebrities, and journalists, all gathered to support a foundation aimed at aiding underprivileged youth. The atmosphere was vibrant, yet there was a palpable sense of anticipation as the evening's keynote speaker prepared to take the stage. Sitting quietly in a less noticeable corner was Barron Trump. At just 18 years old, his tall stature and calm demeanor made him stand out, though not by choice. He had been invited by a family friend, a gesture meant to introduce him to a new social circle. Unlike many of the guests who seemed to thrive in the spotlight, Barron appeared content to remain an observer, his sharp blue eyes scanning the room with a quiet confidence that seemed beyond his years. The event had been progressing smoothly. A string quartet played softly in the background as waitstaff moved gracefully through the crowd, offering hors d'oeuvres and champagne. Conversations were light, and laughter occasionally broke out among the guests. However, as the night went on, it became evident that the main attraction everyone was waiting for was the keynote speech. The journalist, a well-known figure in liberal media circles, had been announced weeks earlier as the evening's speaker. Renowned for their sharp wit and bold opinions, they were both admired and criticized for their provocative style. They had promised a speech that would challenge perspectives and spark debate. As the MC introduced them, the room fell silent. Glasses were set down, and all eyes turned to the stage. Barron, too, leaned back slightly in his chair, his expression unreadable. The journalist stepped up to the podium, a confident smile on their face. Dressed impeccably in a tailored black suit, they radiated charisma. The audience responded with polite applause, but there was an undercurrent of curiosity. What would they say tonight? As the spotlight illuminated the stage, the journalist began speaking with ease, their tone conversational and engaging. They opened with a joke about the city's notorious traffic and shared a humorous anecdote about a past gala mishap involving a toppled champagne tower. The crowd laughed, the initial tension easing. For a moment, it felt like any other high-profile event, polished, predictable, and lighthearted. But soon, their tone shifted. What began as general commentary on politics and culture turned into pointed criticism. They referenced well-known political figures, poking fun at their quirks and mistakes. Each jab elicited chuckles and nods from some in the audience, while others exchanged uneasy glances. Then, the focus turned to Donald Trump. Well, we can't talk about the state of the world without mentioning the man who made orange the new black, the journalist quipped, drawing scattered laughter. Love him or hate him, you have to admit, he's the gift that keeps on giving for people like me. The crowd's reaction was mixed. Some laughed openly, while others shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Barron, seated quietly, remained still, his expression unreadable. The jokes continued, each one sharper than the last. The journalist moved on to Trump's policies, his tweets, and even his public appearances. The laughter began to wane, replaced by a growing sense of discomfort among the guests. But the journalist wasn't finished. And of course, they said, pausing for effect, we can't forget his most overlooked legacy, the next generation. I mean, let's talk about Barron. A collective gasp swept through the room. Heads turned toward Barron, who sat motionless, now the center of attention. The journalist's tone remained light, but their words carried a sting. Imagine growing up in a golden tower, surrounded by marble everything, while your dad tweets about Kanye as the rest of us try to survive Monday mornings. That must have been character building. The attempt at humor fell flat. Some in the crowd chuckled nervously, but most sat in stunned silence. The spotlight, unasked for and unwelcome, had landed squarely on Barron. Yet, instead of crumbling under the pressure, Barron remained calm, his composure unshaken. What he did next, however, would leave the entire room speechless. The room seemed to hold its breath. All eyes were on Barron Trump, a young man unexpectedly thrust into the spotlight. The journalist's words hung in the air, sharp and cutting. The crowd waited for his reaction, but Barron didn't flinch.